that these things are not, I don't do these things in front of my children because I don't want my children to do them. I don't do them. So I'm not going to tell my kids, don't drink when I'm drinking every night they go to bed. Don't swear when I swear privately. I just don't do them. Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Analia. Today I want to talk about 8 things that I don't do as a Christian. Some pertaining to being a Christian mum, but all of them around being a Christian. So let's jump in. I want to start this by saying this video isn't about being better than anyone. It's not a list of rules and a badge of honor. Look how good I've been. These are just things that I've chosen not to do out of conviction with my prayer time and my walk with the Lord. And I guess my deep desire to live set apart for Jesus, especially in front of my kids. So some of these might, get you to nod in agreement, and others might make you disagree or uncomfortable, whatever it is. But that's okay. It's not a list of what you need to do. I'm sharing it in the hopes that it encourages someone, whether you're dealing with one of these particular things or something else, just that I want to show that it's okay to choose not to do things just because other people are doing it, and that God does convict us. God does speak with us individually about ridding certain things from our lives. So the first thing on the list is I don't drink alcohol. When I was turning 18, I had this real unsettled feeling that there was just this pressure of, what are you going to drink and what's your first choice? And I just didn't want to. There was one side that was worried about the effects it would have on me, that I don't want to not be able to control what I'm saying or doing. But there was the other just spiritual side of, this doesn't feel right. I just don't want to do it. My 18th birthday came around. I'm in Australia, for anyone watching that doesn't pick up the accent or understand, but in Australia you can drink at 18. So on my 18th birthday, the question was still coming up, and it was like this, I've got to go buy alcohol. But my mum said to me, you don't have to drink just because you're 18. That was it. I was like, I'm not going to drink. Yeah, I can do it later. That's fine. And here I am at 32 and I haven't. Now, I have tasted alcohol. My parents always had it in the house. So as a kid, I've sipped wine, and one time in Indonesia, we were there for ministry and they handed out the communion and it was real wine. So I've drunk it and that was stronger than the grape juice we use back home. But I choose not to drink. And to be honest, it's been such a blessing because I've gone on to marry an African, and in African culture, Christians don't tend to drink. And for him, that would have been a major red flag if I did drink alcohol. So I really feel like that choice from when I turned 18 had a big impact on my life later as well. The Bible does say all things are permissible, but not all things are beneficial. So even though some things aren't a sin, if they're not benefiting you, don't do them. The second thing is I don't swear. I don't want my kids repeating it. I don't want to have to teach them this is a bad word. We don't use bad words. I just don't swear. And recently we have some friends that swore in front of the kids, and they were apologizing. My kids didn't even know what they were talking about because they don't know those words. It was just another word that they hadn't learned the meaning of yet. It wasn't like, he said a bad word. They had absolutely no idea what had been said in front of them. They didn't repeat it. They didn't think about it because they've got no clue. The third one, and this one might get people a little bit uncomfortable, is I don't lie to my kids, even about Santa. And that's because the truth is foundational. If I teach them to believe in something magical like Santa and then reveal that it's fake, I lied to you, I risk doubting everything that I've ever taught them, including Jesus. I don't want them to go through a process of, so he wasn't coming into our house, that was you, right? And then you would just leave this stuff out and pretend it was Santa. And then you would eat carrots and pretend the reindeers ate it, right? And then they're like, so is Jesus fake? No, all that was real. So I didn't want to blur the lines, that from the start we have always told them the truth, and we're open about everything. There is not anything that we don't talk to our kids about on their level. The next thing is, I don't force my kids to go to kids' church. I homeschool my kids, and when we've gone to churches, I volunteer in the kids' ministry. One, because I want to be involved in, like, I'm worried about their education, so I'm not sending them to school and what they're being taught. This is the most important thing, so I want to be involved. I want to hear about what they're learning in kids' church so that we can talk about it through the week and that I can support their growth. And just that foundational learning about Jesus. Two, I'm not forcing my kids to go anywhere away from me. Unfortunately, bad things happen in this world, and if my kids saying they're not comfortable in a situation, I am not forcing them into it. If they'd rather sit in the church, because if I'm not serving and I'm up, I say up because the church that we've just left, because we've moved away, was like up and downstairs. But if I'm not down in kids' church and I'm up in church and they want to be with me, then absolutely, because I find it really important for the kids to be in that situation, in the main service, hearing what's happening, watching people be prayed for. I think that can be more beneficial than, what happens in kids' church sometimes. The fifth, and if you're American, this might offend you, maybe some Australians, but we don't do Halloween. The head of the Satanic Church has been quoted saying, I have to find the exact words, but he's basically saying he thinks it's really great that Christians allow their children to worship the devil at least one day a year. Halloween has so much spiritual foundation, and the fact that Christians fight this and think that it's okay just blows my mind. This is not one that I'll be like, if you choose to do that, that's okay. I don't know why you would do that. It's fear-based. It's, besides safety, knocking on people's doors. Like, no other time do we say that that's acceptable. But it's about being scary and dressing up scary and dead things. It's demonic. It is nothing short of demonic. Our kids do not participate in anything Halloween at all. If it comes on TV, it gets switched off. There is just no way Halloween is coming into our family. Alright, that's enough about Halloween. The sixth thing that I don't do is I don't watch inappropriate TV or movies around my kids. Just watching things that you might have to cover their eyes or mute it. Even in children's movies, even in, like Disney, let's not get started on Disney, but there's a lot of Disney movies that are quite demonic. And what I've also found is there's these scary scenes, and as soon as you push your kid to watch it and then they're okay with that, then then you can go to the next level of scary. So we just don't. If anyone watches Bluey, there's a really cute episode where they go to the movies and Bluey's scared and covers her eyes and I want to go, and Bennett's like, okay, I think you should just wait. Does he make her wait? I think Bingo starts mucking around, so then they end up waiting and then the scary bit ends and something good happens. But I'm actually not for pushing them through scary things, especially as kids when they're not ready. That being scared of certain things is sometimes God's way of protecting us, that this is not okay. Like, fear comes from the devil, so it's not something that I'm pushing on my kids as an entertainment. The seventh is I don't let activities take priority over church. So we don't plan our life and then hopefully we'll have time to go to church or, whatever. It's Sundays we go to church. Just making sure that we're modeling that God and church are the priority. And number 8, which sort of crosses some of the other ones as well, but our kids don't play with demonic characters. I'm not really sure how to word that right, but just because things are cute, like mermaids and Pokemon, we don't do them just because we think they're innocent, especially when they're spiritually, they've got spiritual foundation. Mermaids have got quite demonic spiritual foundations when you look into it. And I know to some that haven't come across this, that'll sound crazy. It sounded crazy to me too, and then I did the research. Pokemon are literally based on Japanese gods. Like, so let's just play with some Japanese gods. I wouldn't buy my kids like little Buddha statues to play with. They're not playing with Pokemon. I just don't want to normalize playing with spiritual things. We'll talk about Jesus, we'll talk about the Holy Spirit, but that is the only spirit that is allowed in our house. I hope this list hasn't scared you too much. Honestly, I hope that it's encouraged you in some way. If there's something that maybe you do or do differently, I would love to hear about it in the comments. So yeah, drop that below, or drop another one that you think is really important, another thing that you don't do as a Christian or a Christian parent, and I will see you in the next video.